What's up guys, back again with another video, but today it's not just about smoking a brisket for 11 hours. In my opinion, it's all about getting an additional protein that's going to give you, a break from the bland chicken, a break from, pork chops or steak, whatever you've been eating, because we've all been guilty of this. When we're bodybuilding and we need to eat protein, we always go to literally the same shit all the time, and it gets super boring and fast. So a little background about my history with brisket, being Asian and all. I'm not Korean, but Koreans, they love that Korean barbecue and they always eat brisket. If you guys have tried Korean barbecue, you've probably tried brisket. And then the American version is a slow and low cooking for about 11-12 hours. Some people can do it in 6 hours, but today we did it in 11 hours. So because of the Korean barbecue and just having a little bit of experience with brisket, it just tastes awesome at the Korean barbecue, and I just get the all-you-can-eat shit and I just eat a massive amount of brisket. You see those large slabs of brisket. Some are extremely large, but you'll go to the store and you'll see some. So I would buy it and then I would just throw it on my propane grill and I would grill it just like a steak. And guess what happened? Completely flopped the brisket. Completely horrible piece of cooked meat. When it's done on the Korean barbecue, it's very thinly sliced and it cooks extremely quickly. That's the difference between the two, because when it's a large mass of meat, it needs to be cooked thoroughly and rendered so the fat actually gets softened and makes the overall brisket a lot tastier. So when it's thinly sliced, it gets rendered very, very easily on high heat and it tastes awesome. So personally, I have ruined so many briskets that I have made the personal expedition to find out how to cook a perfect brisket. So this is what I'm doing for you guys. I'm going to tell you how I did it. RIP to those other briskets, because when it just is dry and nasty and hard, you don't eat any of it. So guys, this is going to be very, very simple. The biggest thing that you have to invest is time. A great time to get up and do this is, of course, get your workout first. Just kill it in the gym, and it's going to be around 6-7 a.m. because you're going to get back around 9-10 a.m. and you better have everything ready. In my case, I was ready and I had my brisket in a saran wrap, already seasoning. It's low salt, so it's not going to pull too much moisture out of it, and also it was thawing out. I wasn't able to wake up at 7 or 8 a.m. and go work out, so by the time I got back, it was already 10:30, and I had to light that thing up and throw it in there. So man, this is an 11-hour brisket, so guess what time I finished? It was pretty late. Now when you're cooking a brisket for 11 hours, you definitely want to do slow and low heat. You want to do 225 to 250. This way you get to cook the meat evenly, the outside doesn't get overcooked because it's the thick piece of meat. I definitely don't take the fat off on it. A lot of people, they like trimming the fat off, but I'd rather just cook it all with the fat on. Honestly, my brisket came a little trimmed up already and the fat was left on all the right places. When you're done cooking it, you don't have to eat all that fat, just cut it off, you know what I mean? Now 225, 250, definitely the perfect temperature. With that kind of temperature with the coals, it's going to be cooking for about 11 hours, so you have to strategize your day. With the thermometer that I'm using that you just stick in the middle of the grill and then through Bluetooth, it'll tell you what temperature it is. It really makes it so simple. You can get one for like $30 to $50. I went with the more expensive one, the Inkbird, because it had more mature Bluetooth application that will tell me the temperature better. All you gotta do is spritz it a little bit. My spritzing recipe or formula is just 1-to-1 ratio of Worcestershire sauce and apple cider vinegar. That's it. So I just be hitting it every hour or so, or every 2-3 hours. I was pretty lazy with this, guys. And obviously, when it's just sitting there all day, you still have to turn it. You can turn it every hour, but I just did it one time. So half the duration it was cooking on this side, then during the middle, about 6 hours later, I turned it. Now at 150, 160, it's gonna stall out, they say, and that's basically when the temperature doesn't move. And you'll be checking it on your thermometer and you're just like, man, it's not cooking. But don't worry about it. Just let it run, because you got 11 hours, 12 hours to cook this thing. But that's basically it, guys. Once it gets past the stall and it hits 180 degrees, that's when you pull it off. And this is the hardest part, guys. This is where you get it nice, juicy, tender. All the fat is rendered. And this is gonna help your macros, by the way. Because I brought up macros, let's just go over it right now. I'm talking about getting a variety of proteins. Guys, there's just not that many. You know, we can do the eggs, the chicken, and the steak so many times, but the brisket, so much effort is put into it. Just 11 hours smoked on a charcoal grill. You're gonna get that wood-fired taste. But get these macros, guys. Obviously it's not that accurate, but you gotta look at 3 to 4 different options and find the average and see which one is the most accurate. This seems to be the best one. Turns out it's the first result on MyFitnessPal. It's 47 grams of protein, 16.7 grams of fat, 352 calories for 8 ounces. Guys, that's actually a very, very good macro split. Like, you'll be eating filet mignon and you'll be like, man, this is like a goddamn 1-to-1 ratio of protein and fat. But guys, when there's that much fat on a ribeye or that much fat on a brisket, that is assuming that you ate the fat. Now, the fat rendering and you not eating the fat, cutting the fat pieces off, that is going to reduce the fat and the calories. You want to get as accurate as possible, and the MyFitnessPal calorie tracker, whatever you use, gives you a better perspective, and that's all it is. That's the best you can do. Like, if you cook ground beef and you fish the oil out, you've done that before, right? Making taco meat. That's just less fat, less calories. That's all there is to it. Well, my assumption is that brisket is actually a very good choice for protein. But let's get back to the 180 degrees part, which is critical. You guys gotta get some beef broth, and that's it. I mean, you can put some more Worcestershire sauce and apple cider vinegar in the double wrap foil if you want to, but I just use beef broth, and I use about, a cup or two. I really didn't measure. I just poured it on top. And I'm like, okay, the foil can hold this, or it looks like it's enough. If I were to give you the measurement, I would just say put a cup or 6 to 8 ounces of beef broth in there. Double wrap that thing, put it back in the grill, and let it run for about 2 hours. It really doesn't matter what time it is, because what's critical is the temperature. So you put your thermometer in it, and once it hits 200 to 210 degrees, and you're hitting it, and it's jiggling and stuff, guys, that is gonna be the best brisket that you have ever tasted. I just use like some Weber barbecue seasoning, some dry rub, but the broth and just the tenderness of the brisket with the smoky flavor, smoke ring, whatever, it's just, when you taste this thing, you're just like, oh man, this has been cooking for 11 hours. There's just no denying how delicious this brisket is. I've tried to cook other briskets, and trust me, it's not 11 hours. So that gives you a lot of perspective about what goes into this. It's all about the temperature. Let's say you pulled it off at 180 degrees. It's going to be tough. The 200 to 210 degrees is the sweet spot. That's when you know that your meat is going to be juicy and tender. If you guys are into science or chemistry or whatever, it's exactly the same thing. Follow the damn rules and you're gonna get a good product. All you gotta do is get a hamburger bun, put that thing on there with some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, and you're gonna be eating brisket sandwiches all freaking week. That's what I did. And hey, I got a little carb up. Not bad. Really hope you guys enjoyed this brisket video. Yeah, guys, I've been grilling these days, but when I'm grilling, I'll be thinking about you guys. I'm like, yo, they could use this. This is some good protein, good alternative, good option. We need options, y'all. Gotta make things exciting. I don't know. Anyways, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.